Hello YouTube, Zulu67 here again, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to keep your computer's files and programs organized so that they will always be easily accessible. Okay, so your number one thing to understand about Windows in general is that everything is sorted by the Windows Explorer. It's basically the default file manager that runs on top of the operating system, and its purpose is to allow you access to everything that is stored on your drive. So every time you create a new file using any piece of software, or if you need to download and install a new program from your internet browser, it's always your job as a user to know exactly how Windows organizes its files by default, so that you will always know the locations for everything stored on your computer. You can also use this method that I'm about to show you to free up this space very quickly, because once you have everything organized properly, it will be very easy to find and remove any unnecessary files or programs. Now, the first thing that you always see every time you log into your computer is a desktop, which shows the wallpaper and the taskbar on the bottom of your screen. If there's one thing you should know about your desktop, is that it is not meant to be used as a primary location for storing any icons for files or programs, because it is usually limited by the size and resolution of your monitor screen. And if you store too many things on here, it's going to be a lot of trouble later when you need to find something very quickly. I would recommend using the desktop as a way to keep things like the recycling bin, the My Computer icon, any internet browsers or programs that you use the most. But anything else like documents, music, photos, video files or downloads should always be stored in the library section. Use folders to organize any programs that you want to keep on a desktop, and that way they won't be all over the place. So start by right clicking on your desktop, go to where it says new, and then click folder, and a new folder will appear like this. You can give it a name and call it software or programs, and then any programs that you use the most can be stored here. You can also do the same thing for games. So where I have my games folder here, these are all of the games I have installed from Steam, and each of these icons represents the games that I have installed. So the second thing to discuss is how to organize downloaded files from your internet browsers. Now, whichever browser you are using, whether it's Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari, Opera, each one has a setting for the default location on all of the files that you download on the computer. So for example, if you wanted to change the location for files downloaded from Google Chrome, you open the browser like this, and over to the right where you see these three dots, click on here, come down to settings, scroll down to where you see advanced, click here, scroll down again, the section where it says downloads. Now the location of my downloads right now is by default the download section, but you can change it to any folders that you've created on a computer, or you could change it to the desktop itself. Now, if you're going to do the same thing for browsers like Firefox, this one is a little different. So I'm going to open this program now and show you. With Firefox, you can either access the settings either through the tools menu here or over here to the right. Just come down on this menu and press options here. Now on the general tab here, scroll down to where you see downloads. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can either let the browser always ask you to where it saves the files, or you can save them automatically by clicking here. As you can see, I have all of my downloads set to download the desktop. That way I can find them faster that way. But I don't usually keep downloads on my desktop here. What I would normally do is download something. If it's a program or if it's a file, I'll download it here temporarily, install the program, and then I remove it, drag and drop it into the recycle bin right here. That way it won't take up all of my desktop space. Or you could do it the other way, like I mentioned. You could always say ask to where you want to save the file, but let me demonstrate right now what's going to happen if I choose this. I'm going to go to filehippo.com And all I'm going to do is look for a program to download. So I'm going to use CCleaner as in my example by clicking here. And what I'm going to do is click on the download free version in green over here. When I click on save file, you see Windows Explorer comes up and it asks me where I would like to save the file because it doesn't know the location that I want to save it in. So this is the name of the file here, the CC setup 563. I'm going to choose desktop for now so that I can find it. It just takes a second. And here it is. Now I'm going to use the installer to install the program by double clicking on it, and here's the initial setup for the program. Now one thing to note when setting up programs, depending on where you get your programs from, you always have to be careful about how you're going to install these programs, because sometimes programs come bundled with other pieces of software that you may not want, and you have to read it through. Instead of just clicking next on the page, you're supposed to sit there and read and to see how they're going to initialize the setup. So it says here, enable intelligent cookie scan. I don't want that. Add CCleaner to the recycling bin. I don't want this or this. Start menu shortcuts. Start menu shortcuts are usually putting the icon into the start menu here too, on the left. But I don't want it to do that. I just want the icon on the desktop, because if I put it in both of these locations, then it'll be redundant. I don't need it in two locations at the same time. So I'll just select this one for now and then click on install. Alright, release notes. Yeah, I don't need to do that. So I'll just click on this, close this for now. And then here it is. This is the icon for the program. But instead of just leaving it here, what I'll do is drag and drop it in here. And there it is. I can also change the view type to tiles. I like to change mine to tiles so the icons will be bigger and easily recognizable. So I just come in here to view large icons like this. That way now any programs I install, they will all have these big icons that you can see them. Now the last thing to know is libraries and how to use them. Like I said in the beginning of the video, the libraries are more ideal to use for larger files like video files, music, and documents. Now I like to use my computer icon to navigate computer files so that I can access the libraries easier. So if I just double click on it like this, the libraries that are then showed on the left pane here. So I have 3D objects, desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, videos, and then my local disk C, which represents my hard drive. Now for this one, I'm going to use Microsoft Word as an example. Since I already have the program installed, all I do is click on here to document section, right click into this section here, come down to new, and then open a new Microsoft Office document. And then all I have to do is give it a name. I'm just going to call this one tutorial for now. Press enter. And then any changes that I make to this document will be saved here, because this is the location for the document. You can also use folders to organize any projects that you're working on. That way you can group everything together. So even if you have pictures that are part of that project, they will all be under one folder. And then that way everything will be under the same name for that project, right? You can also sort all of the documents by the type that it is. So as you can see here, the tutorial document that I just made doesn't quite look like these other files here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click on this section, sort by type, and what it will do is it will arrange all the files by the type that it is. So if I have other documents in here from Microsoft Access or any text documents, Microsoft Excel, they'll all be sorted by the type that it is. Let's just show you, sort by type. As you can see, it just sorted all of them by the type. So then the next time when I create new documents in this section, then they'll all be listed in order like this. And then the same thing goes for any music that you have, any pictures, videos, they'll all be the same thing really. And for video files, they're usually in different formats. So you know you have MP4, AVI, pictures, you usually have a JPEG, and all the other formats they have for pictures, they'll all be pretty much the same thing. They're still pictures. You can just create folders, and any pictures that you load off with your camera or anything like that, just store them here, and then that way everything will be in order and nothing will be on desktop, littering up the desktop space. And that's how I usually keep all my stuff organized. It works really good. I like this method because it keeps everything in order. You don't have to be worried about looking all over the place for certain files. They'll all be right there. And that's my tutorial. This is Zulu67 signing off.